Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So we'll be reacting to a law and crime video. This is a video that I do know I heard about. I have not seen anything on it. My sister also sent me a whole article on it, and right after she did that, law and crime had a video on it. So I was like, perfect. I can listen to Jesse Weber talk about it and break it down, and you can see a lot of the evidence and also the video recordings, because I do know it was some I do believe it was some kind of video. So this crime is about a woman who committed a really heinous crime against a child. I wonder if she was kind of like on something or kind of mentally ill, because she is charged with killing a 3-year-old, stabbing him to death, and the mom, but the mom is expected to survive. This is in a grocery store parking lot. So when I heard about this, I was like, okay, what would mental, the reason like I think like that, y'all, is because I'm like, who would do this? Now there are just some evil people out here, that is true, but I'm really thinking that she might have been on some, because then it also said she was giggling in court. So I already know this woman is kind of, you know, her probably off meds, off something, maybe not on something, who knows. So let me just stop speculating and let's just get into this reaction.
The screams in the parking lot as we were parking or walking to our car, and we saw the kid.
Just do whatever you can to keep this monster behind bars.
It is a crime so horrific that it's hard to put into words. The mother and her 3-year-old son who were viciously attacked in a grocery store parking lot in the middle of the day. The boy didn't survive his devastating stab wounds. Police say they caught the alleged killer just minutes later with the knife still in her hand. We're discussing Bianca Ellis's arrest and bizarre arraignment with criminal defense lawyer Diane Menashe. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime.
Literally smiling.
Jesse Weber.
Yo, oh, she on something.
Hey everybody. Well, you may have heard by now about this little boy who was butchered outside of an Ohio supermarket as his mother tried desperately to stop this apparently unprovoked attack. It is absolutely horrible. And there is a new video from an Ohio courtroom that shows the accused killer, Bianca Ellis, appearing to have absolutely no remorse. Sorry.
I'm over here throwing out because I was like, are those her boobs or her stomach? And I actually think that's the boobs, y'all. I know I got big boobs, but jeez. I do believe that's her boob. Oh my God. Okay. We don't like this person, so I don't care if I talk about them. She looks like a dude. So this is the person. I'm actually surprised they didn't shoot her dead because she still had the knife with the blood. I'm literally surprised. But you know what? Police work, okay? Make them pay in court.
38-year-old Margot Wood and 3-year-old son Julian were leaving the Great Eagles supermarket in North Olmsted, Ohio. This is outside of Cleveland. It was just the middle of the afternoon on Monday, June 3rd. Margot was loading groceries in the back of her car. Julian was sitting in the cart. And police have said that this appeared to be a random act of violence and that Ellis had no contact with Julian and his mom prior to this stabbing, which makes it just all the more eerie. There is graphic and disturbing 911 phone calls that started to come in to dispatch where you get a better sense of what was going on.
911, what is your emergency? There's a lady with a knife stabbing somebody in the north. Where? She's stabbing somebody? She's stabbing.
North Olmsted units start responding to North Olmsted Giant Eagle. We have several calls of somebody with a knife trying to stab people.
Do you have a description of her? Yeah, she's a black female. We got eyes on her. She's walking towards Lorraine.
Okay, she's outside now?
She's outside walking.
Okay. This is going to be a black female walking towards Lorraine Road with a knife.
Black shirt, black leggings.
All black? Is anybody injured?
Yeah, somebody's injured. I think this kid was stabbed in the mother's shoulder.
Okay, hold on a minute. Ma'am, don't hang up the phone. I'm just going to keep you on hold. I got an ambulance heading there, okay? CPR is in progress as per one caller. And you're not injured?
I am not injured. We heard the screams in the parking lot as we were parking or walking to our car, and we saw the kid.
Yes.
Now, before the attack, Ellis was allegedly seen on surveillance video outside of a thrift store holding the knife that police believe was used in that attack. North Olmsted detectives say that Ellis was inside the Volunteers of America thrift store where she took the knife. So in addition to a litany of assault and murder charges, Ellis also faces a theft charge.
Really just a random act. Like, who just walks around a grocery store with a knife? Who does that? What is wrong with people now? What is going on? Y'all know we've been saying like the most ridiculous crimes happen recently. And to just stab a child and like a random person at in a parking lot, it looked like she was waiting for somebody to come out because she was bored and wanted to try to kill somebody. That's what that looked like. And this jacket or top that's supposed to button up is way too small for her. So like, what was this choice?
He's stealing that night. Now, investigators say Ellis then allegedly spotted Julian and his mom inside the Great Eagle store, followed them into the parking lot.
Nobody warned her? Okay, hold on, y'all. I'm gonna stop trying to pause it so much, but I'm the most shocked that nobody, she's waving his knife. No, you saw the man kind of step back. Why didn't he say, he could I would have yelled out right there, she got a knife, and then took off running. Or, cause like, she was just walking behind him and nobody said anything. I know somebody saw her swinging that. That's insane, but this is 30 minutes, so I'm gonna let this play for a little bit, y'all.
Video from police on the scene just shows how absolutely chaotic this was.
5212, I'm behind medic 51, reporting the lot.
Medic, come in here and relieve him. Yeah, I'm back. Medic, come in and relieve him of his chest compressor. Oh, yeah. You got this.
Oh, that's the baby.
Get him on out. Go take her to a car right now. Hey, somebody go get Mom. She doesn't you see this. Ready? There you go. Are you Mom?
In there, buddy.
Where are you sitting? Hey, we need a second.
If you saw this, come to me. If not, you guys will clear the area. Yep. If you saw this, come to me. If you guys have nothing to do with this, go ahead and go home. Okay. Thank you very much.
You saw?
See this?
You were sitting right over there. We heard her screaming instinct right now.
So you didn't see the actual crime? Thank you very much.
Okay.
Have a great day, okay?
And the body cameras also caught the heartbreaking moment when Jared Wood, the boy's father, arrived in the park.
Is that your son?
Yes.
Okay, come here. We're gonna have somebody take you to the hospital. All right? Okay, we're gonna have you take you to the hospital.
I'm parked over there. Yo, you can leave your car over.
Where's your keys at?
I have my keys right here.
Where's your car?
It's the truck that's parked facing this way.
Yeah, I'll be right there. I'll get your keys, so you don't worry about it.
Witnesses recounted to officers what they say they saw happen.
And just stabbed.
Did she say anything?
No, I didn't hear anything. I had my windows down. I didn't hear anything. All I heard was just screaming, and the lady grabbed her child up out the cart, and that's when it fell over, and they collapsed over here, and the lady just continued to walk off, and that's when everybody just kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And I got out, and one guy, he said, what happened? I said, I don't know, I'm gonna go look. I came about halfway, and I saw her trying to get away, so I hopped in the car and chased her down.
Okay.
To almost where that white building is.
Yeah.
That's when I called 911, and like literally 30 seconds later, you guys showed up.
Okay. All right, cool. So the kid was in a car? In the car?
Yeah.
Okay.
So from there, police hopped at a cruiser. They took off after the alleged attack. They quickly found her. She lay on the ground while they arrested her.
Okay, before we even get to that, Whoa, that was so emotional. Oh my God, that was sad. It's just like, it's so crazy. So much stuff was happening at once. We always think the first responders, police, like the EMTs, anybody who work in healthcare with this stuff, because it's actually insane. And it's actually amazing work they do. I swear, like, EMTs is just, I don't know how they do it. I really don't know how they do it. I don't know how they do it. It's a lot. And the fact that she did that, and they said he was in the car, I don't know if she got him out the car or anything. I don't know about that, but this is wild. And now are we about to watch her get got? Dang. It's so random, just like in the daytime.
On the radio, you can still hear the chaos over at the
I'm really
grocery store.
surprised they didn't kill her.
Who's got cuffs?
Slow down.
Hold on. We're good.
All right. Yeah.
But you know, they did their job.
Go to the female that's
She's in the first 3 rows farthest north. Copy, I will be up.
You got a med kit?
Okay. You go around the side. You're good. Who's got a med kit with you?
We have a female in custody.
Are you bleeding? Are you hurt anywhere?
Nice, right there. 5217, I'm out. Let's get her up.
Pull you up, okay? Grab your other arm. We're going to lift you up,
Yeah,
okay?
we're doing
Stand up, okay?
1, 2, 3, stand up.
Please.
Stand up. Come on.
In round. 14's in round with the mic kit.
All right, let's put her in the back of my
Hang
car.
on. I'm going to check her right here.
Let's go to Johnny Eagle.
Okay.
Fires and dispatch.
I'm phone to the lot.
You good with that?
Yeah.
Walk her back this way.
52 LO3, I got 3 units.
Slide on.
1719 myself. At Johnny Eagle. In the parking lot. Third aisle, if you got EMS coming. We don't have anything here for kids. Petro, out in the parking lot. We're out in the parking lot.
So what happened? Margot Wood was stabbed in the shoulder, expected to survive. Julian was stabbed multiple times in the head and the chest. He died at the hospital. Bianca Ellis was indicted on charges of aggravated murder, attempted murder, felonious assault, endangering children. Margot Wood was stabbed in the shoulder, expected to survive. Julian was stabbed multiple times in the head and the chest. He died at the hospital. Bianca Ellis was indicted on charges of aggravated murder, attempted murder, felonious assault, endangering children, tampering with evidence, misdemeanor theft. Arraignment was
Stabbed in the head. What the hell? Oh yeah, get her. They should have. I'm not. You know, I'm all for the cops doing their job. They did their job, but they should have shot that lady. Get her out of here. You to a kid? Oh my God. Oh yeah, you a child killer. You're not wanted here, girl. Oh no. Oh my God. I'm this close to start saying he.
was originally scheduled to be later
I'm about
this
to
month.
say
That
he.
date was quickly changed to June 10th. In fact,
Okay, there's
court
no
record
bra
states,
on
quote,
here.
Defendant is ordered to be brought to the arraignment courtroom on Monday, June 10th, 2024 for arraignment by any means necessary. So clearly a lot to talk about in this case. And right now I want to bring on a special guest to talk about this. It is a really strange court proceeding, which we'll get into as well. Let me bring in Diane Menashe. She is a trial attorney in Ohio. Diane, so good to see you. It's been a minute since we have a chance to talk. Unfortunately, these are the circumstances. Before we even get into all of the legal components of it, what is just your overall reaction when you heard about this? Because this is your home state.
Good morning, good to be here. It certainly seems on its face to be a mental health case, right? Just the sort of the randomness of the attack, using a knife is often indicative of a mental health case. And I think we're about to watch, or certainly Jesse, you're about to talk about her appearance at her initial arraignment. I mean, she even just her facial reaction, her blanketness, and then the reactions that she does have, the answers that she gave to the court, certainly indicative of a larger issue of mental health at play here.
Well, let's get into that. So I want to play some clips from Ellis's arraignment in the Cuyahoga County Common Pleas Court. Ellis first appeared on video for the hearing, but Didn't seem like she wanted to cooperate. Take a look.
Good morning, Your Honor. Ashlyn Carroll on behalf of Miss Ellis. We would like.
I'm going to ask her questions.
Oh, sure.
Miss Ellis? Miss Ellis? Miss Ellis? Please raise your head.
It's like, oh.
I just need to ask you a few questions. I need to make sure you understand them. Do you have an attorney?
I know it's the law, but why do we waste our time with these people that do stuff like this? I would be like, okay, you want to do that? You stay in jail. That's you. Like, I'm not wasting my time with these people. That's why I can't be like defenders, because I'm not touching you. I'm not looking at you in the face. I'm talking to you from the side. Like, I can't do it. And I know that's their job. That's why I can't do it, because these people are disgusting to me. People who just like kill, and you kill a kid, and it's just so random. And it's crazy because like stabbing somebody with a knife, knives do so much damage. Like I be hearing those cases when they're like slitting throats. I'm like, that's a lot of work to repair. A stab in the stomach is a lot of work to repair. That boy got stabbed in the head and in the neck. I believe head and neck, and his mom got stabbed in the shoulder. You're stabbing somebody in the head and then he died at the hospital. That's so much damage, and it just don't make no sense. These people, you know what, they just, oh my God.
Okay, do you have the money or means to hire an attorney?
Repeat that.
Do you have the money or means to hire an attorney?
Possible.
Okay. Have you received and read your indictment?
I don't know.
You don't know if you've received it? Have you received it?
They're too nice.
Ma'am, just tell me whether or not you've received it, please.
I would hang up.
Miss Ellis,
Hang up.
we'll be out of here in a few minutes if you just answer these questions. Miss Ellis, have you received your indictment?
What's her name? The judge, what's the judge's name?
Russo.
Russo?
That's right.
Russo with an R?
Have you received and read your indictment?
Bro, I'm getting mad. What?
If you haven't received it, I'm going to send it over there.
Just
So you
send
need to
it.
tell me that. Ms. Ellis, why don't you want to answer these questions? All right, we'll come back when she's ready to talk to you.
Your Honor, could I just let the court know our office does represent Miss Ellis on another case, and there are some mental health issues, and I do believe they had been. Okay.
Do you understand on the indictment that the state is reserved the right to add the death penalty? Do you understand that? Have you read that?
ASAP.
What's ASAP?
What's video for?
But y'all, it's so hard to say if stuff is mental health or like mental right now and nowadays, because so many people play that. And you can play it how you can. People can act like they're not here. They can act like they're hearing voices. That's a real thing. Is she doing it? I don't know. It just seemed like she's like off her probably off medication, or never had it and never diagnosed with something, probably sick. So basically, yeah. Because I just can't see. Well, yes, I can, because it was a case. No, it was a case like that in the UK, which I think I reacted to. I don't know. I don't think I did. I think it was on the list. Maybe I did. I don't know. I already forgot. But it was that man who had a sword, and he was like stabbing people, and that little black boy who was walking to school, and I believe they said he was schizophrenic or something, off his medication. Absolutely insane, and killed him, and was like stabbing people, stabbed a cop. But I don't know. People can fake it, so it's really hard. But and also, is there lit in her hair? What is in her and them naps? But y'all, this is just, oh my God, I would be done with this phone call. I really cannot.
Your Honor, we would like to enter a not guilty plea for Ms. Ellis. We would like to waive a reading of the charges, waive any defects in time or manner of service. As I said, our office has reached out to the jail to get mental health services for Ms. Ellis. They were working with her on a previous case, and our social worker has gotten involved. So we would like to ask that counsel be appointed and that the public defender's office be one of those two attorneys.
Okay, stop. Just because somebody has mental health issues don't mean they should be found not guilty from a crime. No, everybody should be charged just the same. I get it if I think she do have it because they said they had another case with her. So I'm like, okay, was anybody not watching her? Was nobody like checking up on her? Those are the questions that come in my head because I'm like, okay, obviously y'all knew she had issues. Why was she on the street? How did she get a knife? There's so many questions coming up. It didn't have the audacity to say not guilty just because of mental health. No.
And ask for a reasonable bond.
Has she received the indictment? Have you discussed it with her?
I personally have not, but I do know attorneys from my office did go see her last week, and that there were some notable mental health issues.
Did they go with the indictment?
That I don't know.
Well, then how am I expected to arraign her?
I would like to waive that time period for her.
This could be a capital murder case. I don't think that's appropriate.
Thank you.
So if somebody wants to go over there now and go over it with her, I'll hold it.
Thank you.
So I'll send somebody over there.
I'll reach out to the office.
Okay, we'll come back.
So, Diane, your initial impressions, because it seems like the judge really wants to make sure that Ellis understands what's going on here.
Absolutely, particularly as the judge has said, this could be a capital case. In Ohio, given the age of the victim, it does meet one of the aggravating circumstances under the statute for which the state could seek the death penalty. And it's even clear from the audio and the video of that hearing that the state has already elected or reserved the right to later seek the death penalty. So I think the judge is just being very cautious and making sure that she's been read the indictment, and if she waives reading, that she's first been given the opportunity to either read it or have it read to her.
So we're going to play more clips, but before I do, people will look at this and say she's playing with the court. She's in what we say in the legal community, malingering, faking what's going on. But you heard her attorney say there's some serious mental health issues. What's your initial impression of seeing her behavior on that?
And as I listen to it, I certainly know, as you've just said, a lot of people are like, oh, she's just malingering. She's trying to tee this up, if you will, to be a mental health case. I would say actually that hearing her and the delays in her pause, it actually doesn't seem as if she's malingering. She's literally not comprehending. I think there's certainly a difference there. Also, interestingly, Jesse, the public defender indicates that they represent her on another matter. I looked at the docket last night. There are no other pending cases against her in Cuyahoga. And interestingly, she has no cases whatsoever on the clerk of court site under her name. So if this is her first sort of, experience in the criminal justice system, and it's and add mental health to that, it could really be just a comprehension issue.
So I want you to pause that, because we looked into reporting about her past criminal history, and it is something. So we'll get to that in a minute. But before we do, after those attempts to arraign Ellis virtually, the judge had opted to have Ellis brought to the courtroom so they could kind of straighten out whether Ellis actually had seen and read and understood that lengthy indictment against her. And when Ellis
Where's her family?
The judge's questions, she kind of whispered. Watch.
Hello, Miss Ellis. Do you have an attorney? You do? Do you have the money or means to hire an attorney? Have you received your indictment? Okay. Have you read it? You have not read it. Okay. We have a copy here. You can read it. You don't want to read it. Are you willing to accept that the public defender has read it to you? I'm sorry. You asked her not to. Well, but she did read it to you, correct? She didn't read it to you. Okay, well, we can read it in open court.
Now, before we get into that, judge ended up reading the indictment, and
I want to know, where's her family? You know, when people have mental health issues, major mental health issues, because she look like I don't know what she has, okay? But, you know, you have somebody checking up on you. You really do have, you're supposed to have that support. I don't know, you know, she could not have no family. But her attorney, those people who was next to her was saying that they was working with her a week earlier. I'm like, there had to be somebody checking up on her. There had to be. But she could have easily just got away. So I'm not even going to say that. Why was she whispering?
Viewers, I'm going to show you this. I want you to watch Ellis's face because they say she appears to laugh at what's going on. Take a listen.
It's a 10-count indictment. Count 1 alleges that on or about June 3rd, 2024, the defendant did purposely and with prior calculation and design cause the death of J.W. 10/29/2020. The state of Ohio reserves the right to seek a superseding indictment containing the appropriate 2929.04A aggravating circumstances specifications. And so you understand that means the state is reserving its right to add a death penalty specification. Count 2 alleges that on or about June 3rd, 2024, that the defendant did purposely cause the death of J.W. 10/29/2020. Count 3 alleges that on or about June 3rd, 2024, the defendant did cause the death of J.W., date of birth 10/29/2020, as a proximate result of the offender committing or attempting to commit an offense of violence that is a felony of the first or second degree, to wit, felonious assault, Ohio Revised Code Section 2903.11A1, and or endangering children in violation of Ohio Revised Code Section 2919.22B2. Count 4 alleges that on or about June 3rd, 2024, the defendant did knowingly cause serious physical harm to J.W. on date of birth 10/29/2020. Count 5 alleges that on or about June 3rd, 2024, the defendant did torture or cruelly abuse J.W., date of birth 10/29/2020, a child under 18 years of age, and furthermore, the violation resulted in serious physical harm to J.W., date of birth 10/29/2020.
She's talking about this 3-year-old boy. You can see why people are very...
And you know what's crazy about that? I'm going to let them talk afterward, but I do want her to say this. I did say, well, yeah, she was laughing because I said that at the beginning when I saw it was insane. But you know what's crazy about that? Interesting. Not crazy, but interesting both. Just because it's case. I have a cousin who has autism, and he does that a lot too. So, yeah, I wonder what if they diagnosed her. Like, what did they diagnose her with? I'm still on like, was there nobody around her to like help her? Now I'm like really getting in like thinking, and now y'all not just judging.
By Ellis's behavior. What's your take on it?
Well, not to play quarterback psychologist here, Jesse, but we do know from the DSM that inappropriate laughter is a symptom of bipolar disorder. You know, it's a symptom that she's actually in a manic episode. And so when I saw that and her reaction at that moment, which clearly inappropriate.
She had a couple of different facial expressions in this video.
Symptomatic of exactly what we were talking about. It's this larger mental health issue, and specifically bipolar disorder, which can have these, you know, highs and lows and associated with it.
Are we talking potentially, and again, this is kind of maybe premature, are we talking in the insanity defense here? Because again, we'll keep in mind some things I'm about to share with you about her past, but is that what we're talking about potentially?
You know, I think based on what I've seen, certainly her attorneys, I would anticipate will explore an NGRI case, an insanity defense, and also certainly just a competency too, whether or not she's competent to assist in her own defense.
Even competent to stand trial, understanding what the charges, understanding the whole process. So during all this, Jared Wood, Julian's father, who I mentioned was at the scene before, he's standing in the back of the courtroom. You can feel the tension. I can't imagine the self-control that he had. He was allowed to make a short statement to the court.
I have now read the indictment to you. Do you wish to enter a plea of not guilty?
Sí.
Pardon me?
Sí.
What's the same mean? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. I understand the victims are represented and they want to make a comment before I step on. Is that true?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Oh, that's so sad.
Good morning, sir. Could you start with your name?
My name is Jared Wood, father of deceased, husband of Margot. Your Honor, that day, 1 week ago, just took everything from us. There's nothing that could ever replace my son, or anything that my wife and I, or even our other kids, are going through. It's horrendous. I believe there's no bail, period, or extended to the max limit possible by any can, at the very least. Just do whatever you can to keep this monster behind bars.
Thank you, sir. Is there anything else you would like to say?
That'll be it. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
It's incredibly heartbreaking. Think about how he can even just stand there.
I feel like he was talking to me, and I'm just like, okay, done, because it's such a heinous crime. Now, you know what? I learned. I'm actually interested in this because if she's like, well, because I think we all know she's like mentally ill at this point, diagnosed with a lot. Even if they gave, they charged her with capital murder, even if they gave her the death penalty, wouldn't it a factor, which it shouldn't, but it would come into play if she has the death penalty, if she's like competent to even understand that they're doing that. Y'all know what I mean? There was like a whole thing. I think when they put this person, it was a person before, a lot of people that have been on death row, and people are protesting, which I don't think people are going to protest about this, but they are protesting that he don't understand that he's been put to death, and it's like inhumane. Y'all know what that means? Or have y'all heard of that? Because there was a case like that when they put a man to death like that, and people were talking about that.
The judge finished up the hearing, sending Ellis back to jail on a $5 million bond.
Not getting out.
Is there anything else before I pronounce time?
Your Honor, we would just ask that you consider assigning the public defender's office, recognizing this is not our number.
Y'all can't do your job.
Appearance unit. I did meet with her on Friday. We have had contact with her family and begun working on the case. Thank you, Your Honor.
She don't want to be there either. You can tell the lady.
The bond was set at $1 million, and it was before the passing of one of the alleged victims. I do not believe that bond is appropriate given the change in circumstances and the allegations that are contained in this indictment. Bond is set at $5 million, cash, surety, or property. GPS, no contact with any surviving victim or victim's family, DNA order. Judge is John Russo, pretrial June 17th at 9 a.m. I'll sign counsel.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you, Your Honor.
Diane, right decision?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, she's indigent. She was found indigent after the hearing, so she doesn't have the ability to pay for counsel. So really, a $1 million bond is as good as a $5 million bond in this case, because in Ohio, you pose 10%. But absolutely the right decision, particularly given that the state has noticed it could be a capital case. $5 million is certainly not out of the norm, and it seems appropriate.
Now, before we even get into her history, this is pretty shocking. Just going back to potential defense in this case, with insanity, she would have to establish that she really couldn't perceive right and wrong here, and that she couldn't appreciate her actions. Do you think that's a tough bar? But based on what you've seen so far in this case, you think there could be something to explore there?
Certainly something to explore, and something that must be explored by her defense counsel, just given what we already know and the nature of the facts. But I have to tell you, Jesse, incredibly high bar to meet. I've 26 years, and I've done over 40 capital cases, and literally in one capital case, I've had a successful NGRI defense. Just incredibly hard. Certainly competency, whether she's able to assist in her own defense and understand the nature and objectives of the proceedings, lower bar. Of course, though, just as you know, there's that restoration piece. If she's found not competent, then she would be sent to a psych facility, and they would try to restore her to competency. But NGRI, insanity defense, such a high bar.
I just have to bring that up because it seems to me, given the surveillance footage, given a surviving witness, given potential other witnesses, other defenses might be kind of limited here to say she didn't commit the crime. But now I want to walk you through something. So stay with me here about what led to this incident. I want you to tell me if taking everything is true, if this is a failure of the justice system. Let me talk about it. So, Ellis claims that she has killed before. According to police documents, Ellis had a warrant for violating her probation. This was out of Rocky River Municipal Court out in Ohio. It was related to a May 2023 theft charge. Somehow, she ended up in California, where Kern County deputies issued warrants for her back in February because she was accused of 3 counts of battery on a person. Now, despite that, she came back to Ohio. She ended up in a women's shelter. An official at that shelter called Cleveland police because Ellis said she wanted to confess to murdering someone in Bakersfield. Now, according to the report, quote, she states the victim was a white female, approximately 5'6", 150 pounds, and that she was a bartender who worked at a bar. Ellis claimed that she dumped the body in an unknown area and she wasn't sure if anyone had ever found it. Now, you might be saying, oh, maybe she's making this up. Well, apparently, police out in Bakersfield, California said they had some unsolved homicides that may match up to what Ellis described, but there wasn't enough to arrest her, name her as a suspect, and they weren't going to go to Ohio, travel to Ohio, pick her up on those battery charges. So, the Cleveland police report also stated that Bianca had told officers if she was not taken to jail, she was, quote, going to murder someone at the shelter, and that she also said she wanted to kill someone and eat their flesh. Now, apparently, North Olmsted police refused to pick her up on that probation violation warrant. So what ended up happening? Well, at this point, Cleveland police took Ellis to a hospital for a mental health evaluation. And apparently she had been sedated after fighting with the staff. It's not clear how long she was in that hospital. But not long after that, she finds herself in Florida. She's arrested for refusing to leave a hotel. She made her way back to Ohio after getting out of jail, comes back to Ohio where she reportedly was arrested just days before this attack on the Woods. A judge released her and said he didn't have enough reason to believe that she was in danger, no reason to really keep her held up. And then she allegedly commits this horrific attack on a 3-year-old and his mother. Is this a failure, Diane?
Yeah, I can say that's a failure. They don't look enough into mental health. This woman is mental. I'm officially saying it, okay? And so the recent, because all this stuff seems so recent. Even if she didn't kill anybody like before, saying that you did shows that you have mental issues. So yeah, they took her to a psych place and he had the audacity to say she wasn't in danger. What? That's crazy. Just wasn't enough done. That's what it was. No one was not enough done. How did she get from Ohio to Florida and back to Ohio is what I'm curious about. I'm like, did you walk? How did she work? Did she have family? I'm so confused of who was near her. Is anybody here to help her? There's just so much to unpack that I'm confused, and I'm gonna go and let this in, y'all.
Yes, it's a failure, but I think there's some context to add to it. One of the things that really sticks out to me is she's on probation for a misdemeanor offense, right? Municipal court here is misdemeanor level offenses. So she's not on probation for a felony offense, which does take a different sort of light to the question about is it a failure. What I have to tell you is I think it's a failure of just basically an understanding of mental health. And that's even true in our criminal justice system. And what you've just talked about is a prime example of that. That super aggressive behavior, that manic back and forth, the traveling, those sort of statements that she's making that are the grandiosity of I've killed someone, I put them here, I've done this. I mean, that's all indicative of severe, manic episode of bipolar. What I think, though, Jesse, is one of the things the court probably considered that we aren't hearing about yet is what that assessment that she had or that inpatient treatment that she had, what was the outcome of that, right? Did she leave properly medicated? Was she supposed to be continuing her medication?
Oh, so they just let her walk?
Yes. Of course, we know that, someone with mental health is dependent on their medication and should they stop taking it? Well, I mean, that's a real issue. But yes, it's a failure, but I think there's some context to add to it. I think it's just such an understanding by our country, our criminal justice system, everyone about the severity of mental health.
And real quick, Diane, do you think that this is a case where her attorneys would try to work out a deal, life in prison as opposed to, death penalty?
Certainly, if they aren't able to do an insanity defense, then absolutely. Under Ohio law right now, aggravated murder is life in prison without the possibility of parole. There's no other sentencing option for ag murder here right now. So if they do ultimately indict her for the death penalty, I would absolutely presume, based on the facts of the case, that her attorneys will try to work out a plea just as you've described.
Let me wrap all this up by not focusing so much on Ellis, but now focusing on Julian. There is a GoFundMe page for Julian. It's raised more than $260,000. The funeral was held over the weekend with a procession that the organizers called a memory line. Family asked for people to wear the color green, dinosaurs. Julian's favorite. Really, really sad, horrible case. Diane Menashe, thank you so much for...
Okay, y'all, a lot to unpack here. This actually woke my eyes up a little bit to mental health. So y'all saw me at the beginning making jokes and stuff. It's because I didn't think she was really mental, but yep, she is. Yep, was in a facility and everything. They just let you walk out like it ain't nothing. I guess, like, what? I guess if they think you're okay. Like, I'm confused about that. And what she was wearing looked like that was the day of. So the fact that she had like that like stuff happened before says a lot. I would say the justice system failed, but only because I don't think they know or care enough to know about mental health, and that people with mental health really do commit crimes and acts of violence. Do she deserve death penalty after hearing all of this? I would say it's only because, like, yeah, I gotta stop making jokes in my head. Okay, let me stop and be serious. I would say they better, most likely they're gonna give her life in prison. You killed a kid, you killed somebody, but I'm pretty sure they're gonna look at it all again about like the mental health and all that. That's actually a serious thing. Definitely some bipolar issues. Now, even though she was smiling in court, I was looking at it like, okay, she's like she kind of, to me, seriously, I see a little like autism in her, like kind of autistic, because like she had a couple face changes. Like, that's what I was looking at. I was like, I should have showed my sister this, because she got a psychology degree. She'd be looking at all that. But definitely some bipolar issues. I was wondering why she was whispering, but yeah, that says it all though. Definitely mental. And the reason why I say that not the death penalty no more, that I think, just because I feel like with stuff like this, there's always the other group of people that say it's inhumane if you do that to like somebody who's not coherent. But then the other side be like, well, even though she's mentally ill, she was coherent enough to kill somebody. Y'all see what I'm saying? It's really interesting the way, like, there's always two sides to every story. She is a monster, just like the dad says. She took her son, so yes, he should pay the crime. I'm still on that. If they give her the death penalty and end it, I don't think, and I'll miss any sleep. It's just, I'm wondering how they just like you're sent into like, and y'all, even the family, they said they contacted her family. Did they know she was just out because she was in a women's shelter? Everybody don't have family. There's a lot of homeless people with mental health issues too, so that could be this type of situation. But it's like, where does the line end of helping? If I was helping, I don't think I could just let somebody with mental health issues just walk. But that's just me, and I don't know how those facilities work. They just let her out. That's crazy. And then she committed to like another crime that they have not found, but they said they're going to look into the other cold cases. And she was really specific, so that's really interesting. I'm like, do we got a serial killer in our hand or something? But this was weird. This is also very sad for the little boy and the mom. I'm happy she survived. So sad he had to pass away for this. Stabbed in the head. Now, every time I think about that, I'm like, give her death, because when you think about it like that, it's like stabbed in the head. You stabbed a child in the head, a little kid. I want to know how he got out that car. I might have missed it, y'all, but I want to know how he got out that car, because he was in the front, not in the front seat, but he was in his seat. But and then also, y'all, the video, I saw that knife in the store. And the fact that nobody saw that, or was I looking at someone else? I swear she had that knife in the store. And nobody said anything. And think about it, I don't even like people all up on me. When I go to the store, I'm like, I really don't like people up on me. I'm looking around 24/7. I don't like people walking up on me. And because of this, now I gotta be even more cautious, because there ain't no way. It's so sad, but you definitely gotta be aware of your surroundings, be careful. But she was just going to the freaking cars to put groceries up. And this person, thank God they got her right after that. And just walking. And oh my God, I'm really surprised they didn't shoot and kill her. I'm really surprised. You know, they actually did their job. I'm actually surprised. But I know they wanted justice for her. $5 million bail, she wasn't getting out. Y'all, also, I think I was wrong. They say 10% of it. That's like $500,000. That's crazy. That's a lot of money. That's actually a lot of money. But yeah, she ain't getting out. Even with the $1 million, they could have gave her $500,000. She wasn't getting out. Anybody getting her out. But she will pay the price. She will pay the price. I'm pretty sure they were going to give her some mental health help. And it's sad it had to end this way. It's really sad. And, you know, we're going to end this video off by saying mental health really is a real thing. And it's opened my eyes more rather than judge it, even though I was looking at her, the size of her boobs, which were ridiculous. And the jacket, the shirt that was too small. I was just looking at that stuff, y'all. But this is really serious. Mental health is a really serious thing, especially in crime. It happens. A lot of serial killers have mental health issues. I'm talking about, like, what's the word when you're like, you see like you're like another person. What's the word? Disassociative. One of those. But like identity stuff like that. So that is a real thing. We see that a lot in these freaking cases, and it's coming up more. But it was actually, when you think about it, it's actually really scary that somebody like that can just be walking down behind you and then stab you to death. That's actually insane. Rest in peace to the little boy. He didn't deserve this. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will see you guys on the next one. Bye.